Shisha has become almost taboo in the city of Vancouver, especially with the recent shutdowns. लेकिन शीशा में क्या है? Drugs है, tobacco है, या फिर harmless है? And if it is harmless, then why the shutdowns? And why the draw for our youth to be going to these shisha lounges? In studio with us today is Ben Gill, who is the owner-operator of the newly opened Kismet Shisha Lounge in Burnaby, BC.
Hi.
Ben, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Junita. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah.
The Kismet Hookah Lounge was opened in Burnaby as opposed to Vancouver. Vancouver ho band karde jande hai. The reason they're closing them down there is because one of two things happened. The bylaw officer went into the Persian tea house, as I was told. They had an argument back and forth. The fellow that owns the Persian tea house, Iranian fellow, he was taking that as it's shutting his business down, his livelihood that he'd had open for 17 years. So both of them put their backs up, they went to court, and now it's actually going to Supreme Court. They're arguing the fact that they are debating, they're trying to keep their culture alive, which shisha and hookah, it's been going on for thousands and thousands of years.
So when it comes to, you know, these, you said that it's the law, is something's like an archaic law that is coming into play here that is not allowing the shisha lounges to stay open in Vancouver, is that it?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the city of Vancouver is backwards. You can go to Vancouver, jack up with heroin indoors. You could go to Vancouver and test marijuana in their dispensaries, but you can't do flavored molasses. And that's exactly what in Burnaby we're allowed to do. We have flavored molasses with glycerin, tobacco-free.
Tobacco-free.
Yes.
So that's what I was going to ask you next, was what exactly is shisha? I mean,
it's flavored fruit, glycerin, and molasses. So it's sugar,
So it's sugar.
a little bit of flavor, yes.
so all that smoke that comes out of it is sugar.
Yeah,
Burning.
it is. And it's different from cigarettes or cigars. I don't know if you've ever tried one of those. Afterwards, you have this dung-flavored taste in your mouth after using those. You don't get that when you're smoking herbal shisha. Doesn't get in your clothes, it doesn't make you smell bad, and doesn't make your breath smell bad either. In actuality, it makes it smell sweeter.
So, I mean, I would assume that there was tobacco in here. I mean, some of these shisha lounges do
There
have
can
tobacco.
There can be.
Okay.
But we order only herbal molasses that's tobacco-free. It's not like that.
So
it's
it's
like
not-
the first thing people think is you can smoke marijuana in there. No, you can't. I mean, there's different names for the pipes. There's hookah, there's shisha, there's nargila, and there's bong. Mostly bongs are associated with smoking marijuana. This has nothing to do with smoking marijuana. It's day and night, apples and oranges. If people want to take those pipes home and put whatever they want in it, that's a different story. But in Burnaby, in the pipes at Kismet Hookah Lounge, is herbal molasses with glycerin mixed in.
So then why is the city really up in arms? And I mean, the other municipalities are looking at what the city of Vancouver is doing, and you know, because just to see if there's a way for them to crack down, or is it a safe place for the youth, especially the youth, to go and, you know, to smoke hookah?
It's 19 and over. You can't be below the age of 19. We do ID people.
Okay.
The city of Vancouver is cracking down. Simply, I believe they're backwards. They have
So
more
they
than
haven't
enough
evolved.
things. Yeah, they haven't evolved. I mean, in 2008, Burnaby changed their bylaws to allow it, as long as Fraser Health has been notified and they've examined what goes on in these lounges. We don't serve alcohol. We don't serve anything other than hookah. It's light music. It's a way to relax. It's no different than going out for a glass of wine. In the 20s, there was prohibition, and it was illegal to go out and drink. They decided we're going to let people make up their own minds. We're not going to be the shepherd herding the sheep anymore. So after the 20s, it was legalized in North America, right?
And so, I mean, now we notice that, you know, shisha hookah is kind of trendy.
It
you know,
is. It's a worldwide
there's
trend.
songs out about it, and there's, you know, you've got these big stars that are out and about, and they're talking about hookah. They're smoking hookah. They own the hookahs.
Yeah.
So what do you think the future of this is? Do you think that there's a growth here in this region?
Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of growth. I mean, there's two hookah lounges in North Vancouver. There's still one open and operating on Davie in Vancouver. That's the Persian Tea House that's fighting against the city.
So it's still operating?
Well, he's gone to the Supreme Court. There is 4 lounges in Port Moody that are all within a kilometer of each other. 2 of them are right beside each other. They share walls. I'm the 5th one in Burnaby, and they're all spread out all over Burnaby. They have different music genres that play in each place. Depends on if you're from Lebanon or Saudi Arabia, or I believe I'm the only Punjabi that has opened up a lounge. So yeah, we do have a mix of Bhangra music and light Hindi music and other lounge music.
So hookah and shisha is basically in the Arab influence. It's come to us from the Arab world. So do you think that because of why do you think that that's so popular here? Is it the increase in the population out here, the Middle Eastern population? Or is it just something that's trendy?
Well, it actually started in India. And
it did?
Yeah, the Arabs came over to India. They loved it. And
then they took it with them.
The name Shisha means glass, and they took it back and they started doing their own pipes and putting their own type of tobaccos or molasses or what have you in there. And the name changed from Shisha to hookah to Nargila. Depends on what part of the Middle East you're from.
Okay.
And even in as early as the 1600s, when the Norman French settlers settled in North America, there was a painting made of a native peace pipe, which was very similar to the hookah pipes. So I'm assuming somewhere along the line before the settlers arrived in the 1600s to the new land, probably the Vikings may have brought it over. There's history that the Vikings brought a lot of things over to North America well before Columbus ever arrived on the shores.
So there's a lot of history here, hey?
And even the natives, it's an act of gathering. It's an act of honoring somebody when you're in a circle and you're sharing the pipe. So hundreds of years ago, there wasn't all these issues with hygiene. You could share a pipe and not worry about getting a cold sore or something like that from somebody. So now we do have disposable tips. So you're not sharing the same pipe.
To keep safe with the regulations nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there's a lot of history. It has literally been done for thousands of years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so now you're here, and it seems like you're here to stay. So we wish you the best of luck with your new endeavor.
Thanks very much.
And hopefully that regulation from Vancouver won't come out into the rest of BC.
I would think the Vancouver one's going to get overturned. So if they don't, they're a fairly backward city in Vancouver.
So Ben, I just want to take a moment to thank you so much for coming on the show and for enlightening us on what hookah really is and the fact that it could be safe.
It could be safe, but let's not get ahead of ourselves here. It's a lesser of more than one evil. It doesn't have tobacco in it. It's not necessarily saying that, well, it's absolutely healthy for you, but it's not going to kill you overnight. Unlike in the dispensaries or even unlike the needle exchanges downtown Vancouver, nobody's going to run out and rob somebody for money to go do hookah or shisha.
Right.
Whereas they may have issues in Vancouver with their needle exchanges.
Because that's hard drugs. That's
addicting.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is shisha. You can get up and drive or walk away right after doing this. I actually know a fellow that has an apparatus set up in his vehicle that drives around doing this as he drives.
Well, we hope that doesn't happen, and we hope that they actually come and they come to your lounge and that they do it safely.
Yeah.
So best of luck to you with
Thanks
your new
very
endeavor.
much.